Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Delmont Garden Library Grab and Go programming. I'm not Goku, I'm Erica, the teen librarian, and we are going to make these clothespin puppets essentially today. But I thought what would be more fun than just, cutting out pictures of your favorite, video game, anime, or comic book characters than drawing your own. So in this craft, instead of, and you can do this if you want, instead of printing out pictures, cutting them, and then gluing them on, I'm going to show you how to draw Goku and how to make your own clothespin buddy. So what you're going to need for this program is some cardstock, which will be coming home in the grab and go, along with a pencil, a pen, maybe a marker if you prefer marker, clothespins, which you will also be getting in the grab and go, and glue, which you will get in the grab and go. You can also have color pencils if you want to color it. I will go over that briefly at the end of the video, but what you need primarily to get off your feet are the cardstock and the pencil. I also want to stress that drawing isn't for everyone. I do not expect everyone who does this program to be like a Picasso. Because I'm definitely not Picasso. And also remember that what you're doing isn't an exact replica as much as it's your own version of the drawing. So I'm going to give you the basic steps and how to, but don't be upset if it doesn't look like mine or if it doesn't look like Goku. Mine looks like him, but it's not an exact copy. So don't have any worries about that. The most important thing is that you're having fun and that you're making something uniquely like in your style, which is cool. So please, I want you to have fun with this. So what I need you to do is shake out your hands, don't be nervous, take a breath, and jump into this with me. So you might have noticed I drew a very light square here. That's just for me to keep track because I know myself very well and I will draw as big as humanly possible. So I'm trying to keep myself in check. You can do this too. I just take my clothespin and I draw along, the pin. I try to give it about a thumb's length top and bottom and a thumbnail side to side. So to start with this drawing, with any drawing, you're going to start with an outline. So the first thing we're going to do is create this long oval shape for the face. Faces generally come in various shapes, as I'm sure you know. Goku's is long, it's an anime style, so they're usually pretty angular. We're also going to put 2 half ovals for his ears, because as we see, he's got some pretty big ears there. And the next thing we're going to do is plot out where everything's going to go. So you're going to cut the face in half. You're going to create eye lines. Goku's eyes are between his ears, so we're going to create them here. A nose line, this tells us where the nose is going to go. Goku's nose is near the bottom of his ears, so we're going to put it there. And a mouth line. The next thing we're going to do is create a V shape inside of the face. It comes to this point, so usually it's from the top of the ear to the center of the face, top of the ear to the center of the face. This just tells us where the features fall in. If you draw eyes out to here, they're going to look a little funnier. If you draw a mouth that goes from here to here, it's not going to look like the character. You can do that. You can totally customize it and make it however you want. But if we're trying to make Goku and we want to make him recognizable, we want to keep his features sort of in the same area. The next thing we're going to work on are the eyes. Goku's eyes are actually the shape of a U, but they're slanted in and they're turned on their side. So on the rough part of the draft, we're just going to make the U for his eye shape. That tells us where his eyes are going to go. The next thing I like to do is the eyebrows. Eyebrows are super expressive. So right now we know in this image Goku is yelling. So we're going to want to turn his eyebrows at a curve inwards towards the center of his face. So I'm going to draw an outline and I'm going to put them into the eye. So as you can see, I'm bringing it down towards the center, up and over, and then I bring that up and back in. I drew inside of his eye line because his eyes are in that brow line in the drawing. The next thing I'm going to do, and you can see it's not perfect yet, just wait. The next thing I'm going to do is add his nose. Goku's nose is like a curved L, and it's really small. So I'm going to just make that curved L shape. And then I know it has a little bit of a shadow, so I create a V that I then color in very lightly to create a shadow effect. Goku's mouth is open because he's yelling. So what I'm going to do is curve, go under and curve, sort of like I'm making the outside of an 8. This is just so it shows his mouth is really open. I'm also going to bring his mouth down here. The reason I'm going to go outside of the V line, but not a lot outside, is just because you're showing how loud and expressive he is. The features are coming out of those guidelines. And then you just connect them. To make his mouth look more open, we're adding teeth. Don't do teeth all the way at the end of the lips. It's going to make them look funny. But it also, by doing this, watch, ready? We start his bottom teeth here, let them connect to his lip. Start the bottom teeth here, connect to the lip. Here's where his molars would be. Bring it back to the other molars. And his mouth looks super wide open, like he's screaming, because he is. Now we're going to touch up on the eyes. I'm going to fix his eyebrows a little, just to show how angry he is. By creating these lines, I'm creating a lot of drama. If you create the drama, your character then has features that are identifiable by a viewer. I'm also going to change that U shape by only putting in sort of like a curved L there, and the same thing here, curved L here. It's not going to be perfect. We're not, like I said, not going for perfection. I'm going to erase some of those lines, and now I'm going to go to the rest of his face. Goku has a long, narrow chin and a very angular face. So keeping that in mind and knowing that he is facing the audience, I'm going to use the V to tell me where his chin should drop. Here, the bottom part near the mouth line in the V is where his chin is going to drop. So I'm going to make his chin and do that part first. And this is just how I'm comfortable doing it. You don't have to do it this way. And I like to move it up just a little, as you can see, to create that shape of the jaw. Then I take my line and I just draw it up. I'm still keeping away from his eyebrows and his eyes. They might touch a little, but it's not going to take away. And this is where I put in some hair. I just very lightly figure out where his hair goes. Again, I know he's moving. This is the scene, I think, in the anime where his son gets kidnapped. And we're going to put in his ears. The last thing you're going to do is clean it up. And I'm going to show you how to clean it up and how to add features. So to clean up a drawing, the reason you colored all the other stuff in light and the main part dark is because you're going to erase a lot of it. So you just take your eraser and lightly go over all those lines. You can see I'm being very gentle. I might erase some of my finished, quote unquote, parts, but that's okay, because I can draw them in again as long as I can see their outline. So I'm getting rid of the top of his head. We don't need that. And see, almost all gone. So I'm going to do this one more time, and then I will show you how to add the features. So you might be able to see there's still some lines visible. That's okay. My eraser isn't strong enough to get rid of it all, but I'm not going to be too upset about it. What I am going to do though is fill in the spots that I erased, which are mostly in the mouth and part of the nose. So let's fix those and fix the shadow under his nose. I'm going to work on his features. Goku has little lines to show where the top of his cheekbones are. He also has his eyes, which are put in the center, and they're very, very small to showcase how upset he is. So I'm going to put the cheek lines here, and all you have to do, it's crazy easy, is you just scribble 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do it again here. If you create it on a slight arch, it gives the illusion of cheeks, which is really neat. The next thing we're going to do is put in his pupils, which are right here and right here. You can really change his expression at this point. If you want to like make him look like he's happy, you just make the eyes a little bigger over here. I don't think he could look happy though while he's screaming, unless he's like, cake, yay. And then I'm going to add in lines in the center here. So this shows us that his face is kind of scrunched up. He's really upset about something, and it's only 4 lines to showcase that. Then I'm going to put in his hair because he's flying. Generally, hair is just lines. If you want to make it look curly, you're going to do more wiggle lines. If you want to make it look straight, you do unbroken lines. If you want to look wavy, you kind of break it up like that. There's tons of different ways to do hair. We're doing Goku. He has straight hair. So we're going to put in his bangs. I know that his hair is going back, so I'm going to create a sort of like hairline here. So it just sort of illustrates that his hair is flying backwards. And I'm going to put in his neck just to give me an idea of where I'm cutting. This is also where you can add the final features on the ears. I usually save ears for last because I hate doing them. So now you know my secret. I usually don't draw ears. But there you go. So that is how to make your own Goku. I'm going to show you how to ink it in a second, and then I will show you how to do this part of the project. So if you plan on coloring your project, especially if you plan on coloring your project, you should always go over what you've drawn with ink of some kind. I'm gonna go with Sharpie, so I'm just gonna go over all the lines I drew with Sharpie. So after you let your ink dry, what you're going to do is erase all of the lines off of your picture, which is what I did. And then you're going to decide, if you want to color it or not. If you want to color it, you can use crayons, color pencils, markers, etc. Kind of have fun with it, do what you want. But make sure that there are no visible pencil lines. And if you do see any, just get rid of them to the best of your ability. And when you're done coloring it, you are done the first part of this program. Now for the final part of our project, we are going to turn this guy into this guy. To do that, you're going to need the glue that I'm sending home with you, the picture you just finished, a pair of scissors, and a clothespin. I like to start my cutting by cutting out a rough image. I don't like to cut the exact image out right away. I feel like, I don't know, it's easier to do it like this. That's just me though. You can do it however you want. And then I'm going to cut along the lines of his face, getting as close as I can to not leave too much empty space behind. I'm going to trim up a little bit of it because I wanted to make his hair look like it's popping more. So if I take this part off, it'll do that. And the last part is we need to figure out how to make his mouth go on the clothespin. I figure I want to cut it where it makes it look like his mouth is moving. So I'm going to cut his mouth right open like this. And there you go, you can't go back from that. The next thing we're going to do is glue this down. I'm a righty, so I'm going to make sure it looks this way. You can do it this way if you're a lefty, or if you prefer how it looks to the left. That's up to you. But for this part, it's pretty easy. You're just gonna apply some glue and apply some glue and put your project down. Make sure you line it up with the clothespin. You don't want to put it over top of each other, like overlapping, because then it's gonna close and the mouth won't open. Let's put this one down too now. His head is sticking up a little bit, so to compensate for that, I'm going to glue underneath his head over here and press down. And now, oops, now I'm just gonna wait for him to dry. And once they dry, you will have, well, he's got a little bit of glue still wet there, but you'll have a nice little buddy that you can make videos with, or just make your own stories with, or do this because this is fun. Well, thank you for coming to the Delmont Garden Library Grab and Go program. If you have any questions or need any help, please feel free to call us at the library. Miss Erica will be happy to help you with anything you need. And if you're looking for other characters to draw or just have questions in general, please call the Delmont Garden Library. We look forward to seeing you later. Bye!